All right, so this is part two of the resolutions packet. I'm hoping that there won't be a part three, but I'm just going to get into it. So we're continuing on. We left off with I think it was 51 or 52, and we're about to jump into 53 here. Okay. This is part of the resolutions packet that's going up to the IDGOP meeting in Chalice here in late June coming up. Resolution 2023-53, a resolution preventing the legalization of medicinal and, okay, well, the title is already kind of a problem because it presumes to have force of law. Preventing the legalization of medicinal and recreational marijuana in Idaho. Okay. Whereas, okay, so, yeah, sobriety, virtue and sobriety of the people, that's always a classic that people bring up. And I'm guilty of doing that myself sometimes. Whereas, in the Idaho State GOP platform, it says, dreadful consequences of drug and substance abuse in our society, and we call upon our national to drug use. Definitely says that in the platform. However, I find it very hypocritical when you start considering substances that are not explicitly referenced as drugs. Like alcohol is the biggest one, specifically, that is a drug that is a substance that is being abused by a lot of people, and definitely not, it's definitely not a virtuous or sober thing to do, and I happen to know that a lot of opiates are abused by some of the leadership of across the state. I'll just say that. So I find this hypocritical from given who this is coming from. I'm not saying that he abuses any chemical or substance, but I'm saying I'm pretty sure he's close to people who do. Let's see. I recognize that beautiful when we go and West. He doesn't identify where in the platform it says that, and I'm willing to bet this is somewhat out of context here. But it does say the Idaho Republican Party recognizes that the beautiful and fruitful land that we have been given by God, our Creator, must be properly cared for and to ensure that its rich blessings will continue to be enjoyed for generations to come. I'm hoping that's just a foundational frame of the average potency of THC. Okay. I'll grant him that, sure. All cause blah, 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 blah. Okay, so people are being in hospital for marijuana, apparently. All right, okay. Whereas a study published, addiction rates about the same for. Oh, so you're even mentioning prescription opioids, but you're kind of ignoring them earlier. That's interesting. 2019 cannabis study. Okay. So cartels and narco-slavery. Okay. So this guy hates the ganj. Got it. Fine. Okay, whatever. Now, therefore, be it resolved that fine. I'm staying out of that one, but fine. Okay. Thing is, I'm not exactly for substance abuse of any type. Unfortunately, and very inconveniently for a lot of people, that includes a lot of very legal substances. Very legal. Very legal. And we do nothing about those, but we target that one. Come on. You're not being consistent nor honorable. Anyway, this next one, a resolution to support restoring limits on special. Okay, I think I know where this is coming from. He hates that legislative sessions can now be initiated by the legislature, and that's because he is of a political faction, a political tribe, rather than principled. I do not have a high opinion of Trent Clark anymore. I used to hold him in a little bit more high regard, but not now. But it's where it was enacted by the people invited to without. Okay. He openly admits why this is a bad resolution in his first whereas clause. But let's keep going. Whereas proponents of aggressively deny that it will allow expanded role. This is willful misframing of the opposition. Trent Clark, you are being dishonest. Whereas the official voter guide makes no mention of rescinding the historic beyond. He's trying to say that they weren't being honest about the constitutional amendment to do what SGR 102 was. As a layman, part-time, including this should be voted down just for these two whereas clauses alone. But okay. I'm looking forward to see how this actually gets presented. I'm predicting right now that it won't pass. I'm very against it, if you couldn't tell. A resolution in favor of the widespread use of gold and silver, presented by. Okay. Whereas the Federal Reserve is neither federal nor does it have reserves. I thought this was the Republican Party, not the Libertarians. It's not wrong, though. It's not wrong. Whereas the Federal Reserve owns all cash. Yeah, I guess that does say that on the dollar bills, Whereas the Federal Reserve is currently at work to remove cash and seek to control all transactions through. Yeah, that's kind of a bad thing. Whereas citizens of the United States have been experiencing increasing inflation. Okay. I grant it. Let's see what you're going to build upon that foundation here. Therefore, be it resolved that the U.S. government should not cede. Okay, this is probably just a clerical thing to say here, but it should say something more like, therefore, be it resolved the Idaho Republican Party views the U.S. government should not seize. Okay, yeah. And same with the next line, the ownership of gold. It should say something more like, therefore be it resolved the Idaho Republican Party views the ownership of gold and silver as a protected right. It should say that, something like that. I'm hoping that's just a clerical thing. Therefore be it further resolved that the Idaho Republican Party supports the use of gold, silver and gold in trade and goods for services. So support the cause of liberty. Oh, okay, yeah, this should pass. With some minor correction. Oh, this is one of the... Okay, so this next one. This is one of the bad rules that turned into a resolution. Resolution addressing the inequalities between delegates, authored by Rules Committee, which they should have no authority in any matters. They are a subcommittee organized by a chairman. They are not with any power or responsibility. Sponsored by Victor Miller, and of course he did. And it should say here that it passed without resistance because we wanted to get through the meeting. Whereas the county central committees and legislative are allotted delegates to the Idaho Republican Party convention. Technically true. County blah blah blah. So, oh yeah, the 85-15 thing that I said why it was wrong in one of my previous videos, because it can never it can never be exactly 85, and it can never be 15, and so you're going to be out at least some measure, and therefore incorrect. Whereas transform a long-standing transformed, interesting wording. The Idaho Republican Party recently transformed the long-standing practice of requesting voluntary contributions from county central committees to new compulsory members. It was already compulsory because the Idaho Republican Party State Central Committee had always had the ability to promulgate rules and regulations regarding the party. It has always had that, Victor. News focused on only county central. Well, that's not technically true, but okay. And I wonder why it would feel that way. What motivated that? Go ahead and say why in the resolution, Victor. Go ahead. Institute a rule that if a county doesn't pay its new compulsory, the delegates make up. Okay, he knows that this is going to get changed, but he's arguing from the he's arguing against a straw man here. Okay, whereas based on this new rule, okay, there should be a comma right there or something because that's bad English. Based on this new rule, delegates, counties, and legislators will be charged different amounts when. Okay, he knows it's going to get fixed, but he's arguing against a straw man there anyway as well. Okay, fine. If potential is legal. He's having to quote that. He's having to go back to that just to make his point. Okay, the equal protection of blah blah blah. Whereas the new compulsory measures structure is, of course, okay. I bet Victor never put in the research to find out that different delegates have been charged different fees before, and I bet he's never. And of course, he would never have known the reasons why. Okay, probably those will be in to register. Okay, well, he knows how this is going to get fixed, but okay. Many delegates will refuse to. Okay, fine. Therefore, don't worry. We will be addressing that. There won't be any such legal liabilities now. That the Idaho abolish the new compulsory membership dues structure and return to blah 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 blah. No, I bet this is going down. The work becomes self-sustaining. Interesting wording, especially with what you were saying near the end of the resolutions meeting in the 2020 convention, Victor. But okay. Forward resolution. I was wondering what this was about, and apparently it was just simply I happen to do. I know the Fords. They're good people. I'm wondering what they're getting at here. Passed by District 13. Item 9 in the preamble to the Idaho Republican platform says that we are in favor of the expenditures on appropriate functions, appropriate and unspecific and subjective. We believe the wording should be changed to constantly. Hold on. Whereas, when asked, Benjamin Franklin, Constitution is the owner's manual for the country. That the preamble to the be amended. Okay, there's a problem here. See, everything that has been said in here is true, it's factually correct, and hey, maybe we should work on the platform. The only time that the platform can be changed at all is at a convention. Presuming otherwise, like in this resolved clause like here, is illegal. And I can't support it for that reason. It's really too bad because I like the Fords. I like what they do. Anyway, Resolution 2023-58, the title, Resolution regarding 1 year or 2 semesters of high school study and learning Oh, okay. Apparently they want to Whereas many of the, it's a little bit thick to get through here, but United States Constitution, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm just going to go down to the resolve clauses on this. 1 or 2 years, therefore be it resolved, 1 or 2 semesters of high school study and learning of America's founding documents and supporting history as a requirement of the high school graduate be supported and embraced by the Republican Party to ensure the knowledge of the history of our freedoms are not lost to rising generations and have an informed... I like what they're doing. I think we should do something like that. I'm moving on. Okay, this is one of the bad rules that turned into a resolution. Now he wants to say that he wrote it, which is interesting. He didn't want to put his name when it was submitted to the committee, but okay. This is interesting. Resolution supporting and transparency of party finances. Financial Review says, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know what? I don't have a high opinion of the man or what he writes. And new language on the party's makes assertions that counties based on budget whose adequacy and accuracy must be judged by... Well, that's not entirely correct. And it's even going to be less correct when other fixes are made. But okay. All individuals with fiduciaries must have access to unredacted... Okay. He knows why we can't do that. And fighting against that is interesting. But basically, if we do this, Democrats are going to know everything that we do. And this state will flip blue within a handful of years. So no, I categorically reject that. In fact, I reject the whole thing. It's crap, shouldn't pass. Especially if you want to keep a party. Okay, Resolution 2023-59, late I do my resolution support trying to oh, so this is a okay, so Dan Schoenberg apparently just copied what was going on with Victor Miller. Probably brown-nosed a little bit. I reject that one too because it's the same. Moving on. Resolution. Oh, this is the Article 5 one. Okay. If you're into the issues of this, I highly suggest that you read this and make your own opinion on it. I'm skipping this one. Okay, what's this? This is a really long title. Resolution 2023-61. IDGOP officers should follow party rules and not hinder the election of Republicans with unwarranted investigations during the general election cycle. Okay. Oh, I heard something was going on with Blaine County. What's all right. Approved unanimously by Blaine County Republicans, represented by Kim Baker. Blaine County is the Democratic heart of Idaho. We're over. Okay, Blaine County has only one elected in the town of the corner, and it is difficult in many years to find any Republican. Blaine County has conducted several successful fundraising efforts to be able to quotas, and the Blaine County Republicans have voted to provide whoever is the winner was each Republican, and as well as they did that. And for the first time, because the population has had a chance to elect 3 Republican during the primary, the Republican voters elected 3 Republican candidates for a general election. Okay, whereas Blaine County provided proof that they announced the date of their. Okay, what are they getting at? They're talking about the timing of their reorg meeting. 45 days to the primary. Okay. Far in excess of the 7 days. Okay. The duly elected precinct committee unanimously elected. Due to life-threatening health issues, the elected later resigned, and the members of provided emails stating that they were aware of the resignation and were notified. Okay. A quorum of committee and the new IDGOP were not satisfied with the election of Blaine as chair. I do not grant whatever it is that they're saying here. I'm willing to bet that there's more going on behind whatever they're glossing over with the phrase, officers were not satisfied with the election. I'm wondering, I wonder what's really going on here. Whereas the Blaine County Republican Central Committee did not provided the IDGOP office with emails of the 89 precinct committee members, as he was running for chairman, stating that they knew of the resignation, knew of the meeting, and fully supported Kim Baker, blah, 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 blah. During the last general campaigns, they knew were not satisfied with the email statements, and I would very much like to know why they weren't satisfied. That is, I'm not seeing that being included in here. I want to know why. Blaine County Republican Central provided proof that they announced a meeting 9 days prior for the. Okay, so it looks like this is a big infighting thing about who was elected and when and what under what circumstances. Okay. General assent. Okay, during the general election, the campaigns of the newly IDGOP officers still not satisfied with the election, and Fuller sent on behalf of a list of 10 demands that the Blaine County Central Committee are required to respond within 10 days. Okay, I want to know what those demands were. I very much want to know what those demands were, because I'm willing to bet that somebody isn't mentioning what they were for a reason. The demand was issued 36 days prior to the general election, and the response was required 26 prior to them. Okay, fine. The Idaho GOP did not identify any reason other than Chairman Moon, who challenged the election, and whereas even with a volunteer conducting outside research, the time necessary to respond to demands resulting in hours lost campaign. Okay. Oh, whenever somebody says something like that in a petulant tone like this, it's never good. Whereas not all Idaho counties had demands for reorganization records during, well, of course not. You're not making the point you think you're making there, all right? Well, and this is like over 2 pages of, okay, fine. While Democrats had a funded office in the IDGOP and nothing to assist the rather reduce available campaign time by committee members with frivolous. Well, that's how you retell the story. Okay. Some legislative Republicans actively publicly campaigned for Democratic candidates without any assistance. Okay. That is interesting, but you know what? That knife is going to be able to cut both ways if you want to start wielding it. Whereas the IDGOP state rules state that complaints regarding the process and election should be taken to the region chairman, who is required to investigate them. Received no complaint. Okay. So no member of the complaint. Well, I bet you're getting at something there. This is painting a very different picture from what I've been hearing about Blaine County. So, I wonder who has receipts. You know what? I'm saying nothing more than that on this. That refrain from hindering. Okay. You know what? No. I'm not saying you should vote either way on this, but you know, in fact, you should definitely see the presentation and probably rebuttals. But I'm kind of leaning on no because of how childish some of that was written. Okay, I do a rules committee should review proposed resolution in order of receipt. No, actually, because they need to actually get through as much as possible, and that means often doing them not in order. So, no, I reject that one. I say no. And we're finally at the end. All right. So yeah, okay. So this is probably well, you know what I think about the things I mean to say about that. So I'm going to stop here. I might make an update video here in a moment. I wish you all well.